Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Naked CTF. In this series, I will attempt to compromise and own a server from HackTheBox. This is my first attempt. I've not solved it beforehand nor read anything about it. It's one take with no editing, so this could be 30 minutes or 3 hours. Let's go. Today we're doing CozyHosting. Easy Linux box. So let's just get ourselves prepared. CTF prep, CTF HTTP, CozyHosting, and then our IP address 10.10.11.230. Let's do that. We'll move into our working directory, cozy, and let's get our enumeration going. So it's going to be nmap minus sc minus sv, all ports, t4 timing. Verbose output to nmap1.txt and our target. Cool. Let's go. So while we're waiting for that, yeah, like I said, we've got CozyHosting. We'll try and do adventure mode. Last time we actually needed the not only guided mode, but we ended up needing the write up to get through it. But that's sometimes the way it is. And it looks like our initial recon is already finished. And so we'll open up our notes that were just created. And we need CozyHosting. There it is. Okay. So it looks like just 2 ports, 22 and 80. So copy that. Keep it in our running notes here, and then we'll figure out what to do next. So pretty straightforward. Running OpenSSH on Ubuntu and HTTP Nginx 1.18.0. It does have this redirect, so we'll set that up in a second. But what do we want to do? So 22 TCP SSH, we'll probably leave this alone until we develop some credentials. And 80 TCP HTTP, we're going to do browse of website, take a look, and look for okay, let's try that again. Browse a website, look for any interesting opportunities. And we can also move on to directory and file enumeration if required. In fact, let's do the first one. So we need to add this cozyhosting.htb, because if we take this IP address, we open it in the browser, we are going to just get a 301 redirect, and that won't work because cozyhosting.htb does not resolve. The way we fix that is add host IP cozyhosting.htb. Just a little shortcut that I have to add it to my etc host file, ping cozyhosting.htb. That resolves perfect. So let's have a look. All right. Close the developer tools here. CozyHosting, we offer you modern solutions for your growing business. Host a project of any size and complexity. Get started. That takes us to the pricing tab. Free plan, 1 free host for a month. Monitoring dashboard. Wow, it's not a bad deal. And then all these different plans. If we click the buy now, it just takes us to the top of the page. So it's a dead link. All these sort of links are all anchors as well. So they just do nothing. Hosting, automated patching, etc., etc., etc. Contact us, South City, Jakarta, Indonesia. Cool. Wonder if that's a real phone number. We do have an email address here, so we might grab that. Stick it in our notes as we go. And let's put it in credentials. And what else do we have? Buy now. Services, pricing, so that's all on the same static HTML page. We don't want to view the selection, we want to view the page source. And it looks like it's using kind of an open source or free Bootstrap template. Bootstrap is a kind of visual design framework in CSS, so it's all client side, there's nothing server side on that. We don't see anything that would instantly let me kind of fingerprint this, like a particular CMS management management tool, AOS.js. Not sure what that is, but these things, like this is the supporting JavaScript library for Bootstrap. This is Lightbox, so something for displaying images. Again, I think these are all user interface type JavaScript files. But we do have this main.js, which sounds a little bit generic. AOS looks like some minified JavaScript. So let's just Google that. AOS.js. What is it? Animate on scroll library. Yeah, so it's a client-side user interface UX type thing. And then we do have this main.js, but it looks like, according to the header, it's a JavaScript. It's custom JavaScript code that supports this particular Bootstrap theme called FlexStart, or this Bootstrap template, which is cool. I think they've just, they've used this template in order to put this page together, which is quite nice. Nothing else really. So services, pricing, login is probably going to be where we need to start to play around. So let's do admin and admin. What happens? We get login error. Okay, so if we look at the request response for that, again, see if we can fingerprint anything. Remembering we've got Nginx serving up this content, so it is likely that there is an actual kind of application server behind it, or it might just be Nginx serving up some static content. But if we look at this post request, let's see what it looks like. So our post request is this. We have a J session ID, and that makes me instantly think that this endpoint, login endpoint, that when you submit the form, it's posting to /login, is JSP, I think. Let's have a look. J session ID. J session ID in Spring. Okay. So it could be that we've got Spring, Spring Boot is kind of the framework that's being used, the Java framework that is providing essentially the backend. So if we were to kind of not diagram it out, but think this through, it would be browser, Nginx, some sort of app server, maybe Tomcat, something like that. Then Spring Boot, which is the framework. So let's make a note. Presence of J session ID cookie indicates likely fingerprint of Spring Boot application, e.g. /login post. And yeah, we didn't get anything specific. Could rerun nmap now that, in fact, let's do that. Now that the domain resolves, so it can follow. So we're just going to do port 80, and we won't bother outputting it. Let's just see what it says. See if it can. Now that it can follow the 301, 302. Can it get any further information? No, not really. This is an experiment. I might run this with A, so aggressive. And I think that means it will try and do a little bit more in terms of running various NSC scripts and that sort of thing. So if we go back a little bit, OS fingerprint is not ideal because missing a closed TCP ports are resulting in incomplete. 96% confidence it's Linux 5.0. 5.0 referring to the kernel version. Yeah, okay, interesting. So let's kind of leave that where it is. Right, what do we want to do next? So if we come to here, we can see this login. There's nothing else. This is just a link to the Bootstrap template page. And if we look at the response requests, so we send this, and our response is just C Nginx. And I don't think any of the other headers are interesting. There's cookies, requests, so that's the form data, which is going to be username equals login, password equals login, remember equals true. Okay, there's the response, etc. Okay. So I guess what we probably want to do now is, okay, first of all, let's do some enumeration. So it's a good idea, just in case. So we want to do HTTP CozyHosting.hdb buzz. Word list is going to be user share word lists, sec lists, discovery, web content. Then we probably want to do let's just do big.txt. I have been doing some reading to try and narrow down what word lists I want to use. I know that there's always specific word lists for specific situations. Maybe you know the web application framework, or if it's an API, you want to use an API specific. Okay, that is not -h, it's -u. So we'll let that run. We do have /admin, which is 401, so I don't expect that to work. Although maybe it's because we just don't have a session. White label error page. No explicit mapping for /error, so you're seeing this as a fallback. Okay, interesting. Is that an actual 400? No, 404. Okay, we do have /error, which produces a 500. Index, which makes sense. Login, which we've seen. Log out. So we'll just let that continue. I don't know what the hell this is. But let's grab all of this. Actually, we'll grab the command as well. So we've got a history of that. And we'll add it to our enumeration notes on port 80. Okay. And let's just clean it up a little bit. Yeah, we don't need all that. Okay. So, let's see. I don't know why this got a hit. Yeah, it's 200. I mean... okay, that's weird. Nope. Nope, go back, go back, go back, go back. CozyHosting. Let's take trailing off. Yeah, cool. I don't know why that returns 200. That's a little bit weird. It seems like a random string. And let's just try a few more of these out. So admin, just for completion's sake, we'll do without a trailing. Okay, so /admin gives us a 302 redirect to the login. Okay. Error. I would assume all of these are just going to redirect if they're kind of like a protected route. So this is 500 returned. Okay. Index, kind of, I expect will return the index page. Nope. HTTP CozyHosting index. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then log in and log out. So, like I was saying, I'm trying to hone in on having a good library of word lists to use when doing some of this enumeration and fuzzing, because there's just so many choices in sec lists. Like sec lists is something like 1.2 gig of just ASCII data, right? So it's a huge amount, and there's multiple lists, so there's multiple overlap between them and everything else. So this big dot list is something that I was researching before, and I was reading that a lot of people who are doing pen testing kind of use it as a starting place for directory enumeration. So what I want to do is come in here and search for seclist spring boot and see if there's, yeah, so you look, you see there's a spring boot specific list here. And this is not going to be in something like maybe big.txt. Yeah, it's got all of these endpoints like docs that might be specific to the Spring Boot framework. And if you're not kind of familiar with Spring Boot, let me see if I can find a diagram that kind of explains it. Where's a good one? But it's a server-side web, kind of web application framework. Well, it doesn't even have to be web necessarily. Spring Boot is just for building services in Java. Maybe something up here. Yeah, so it has a controller, service model, database, kind of layer. Yeah. Doesn't clearly explain it. Spring Boot flow architecture. So the browser makes a request. The controller handles that request. It goes through the service layer. So there's a lot of like rigid and structured components that come as part of Spring Boot. So what I'd like to do is run another enumeration with this Spring Boot. So it's the same directory. Now, do we want to add a trailing slash I don't know. But it's not a long list, so it doesn't take long to run at all. So we're going to grab this. They're all 200, so we know that they're somewhat valid requests. Oops. Let's paste that. And we'll get rid of the junk. I know that I can do this faster in something like Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text, but it's fine. Okay, so now we've got some interesting stuff to look at. So I'm just going to hit these one by one. So if you take the fuzz keyword, this is just something that we append on the end of CozyHosting.hdb. So let's have a look, see what it spits out. Actuator env home. And it looks like we get some JSON back. Which looks like a bunch of kind of Spring properties, I'm going to say. What is Spring Boot Actuator? The actuator, what is an actuator? In essence, an actuator brings production-ready features to our application, monitoring our health, gathering metrics, understanding traffic, or the state of our database. So it's like an set of observability endpoints. It uses HTTP endpoints or JMX. JMX is very cool, used it in the past. So if it's kind of enabled, like you have this in your Maven or Gradle config, and include this artifact, these endpoints will be available. So let's just go through this one by one. So these properties, server ports, config. Now, the fact that it's got stars there means that something is redacted. And let's just keep an eye on things like this. So is our cookie or our session ID changing? I don't know. 5090. Nope, looks like it's staying the same. Alright, nothing super interesting in that one. Let's try just /env. I would imagine it would be the same. No trailing slash. Nope. Okay, stop it, Google. HTTP, CozyHosting, CozyHosting actuator env. Yeah, okay. So it looks like we got a different JSON blob back. And I just saw something along the lines of username. Oh, use naming. Okay. And again, all these values are redacted. So they don't appear to be giving us the plain text. Okay. Okay, system environment. Path. Invocation ID. Shell. That sounds good. Okay. Class path. Cloud hosting 001.jar. So this looks like some form of custom code. some jar file that's been built for this, and given that CozyHosting is like a cloud hosting service. So we definitely want to keep a note of that, because I think that is interesting. Let's just create some actuator notes. Actuator notes. Reference to that. So we've done /n/home. Now let's do just /actuator. And here it is running on localhost 8080. So I think the app server is localhost port 8080, and then Nginx is kind of internet facing on port 80. Something like that. Yeah, let's make this a little bit more friendly. So I like to just kind of map these flows out, just to keep in my own head what's going on. Spring Boot, actuator, and application endpoint, like login. Yeah, okay. Just so I kind of understand the flow, and as I develop new information, it may be interesting. So a lot of these paths, like actuator beans and health, are referenced in this kind of root here. So it's telling us like what the URL is for health. And if I click that, it's not going to work because it's going to hit my proxy. But if I type it in, so it goes via port 80, health is up. So that's where your monitoring script or your uptime check or your load balancer health check or something would be hitting this URL. And if it gets up, it knows that the application is healthy. But let's move on. Beans. Beans, musical fruit. And, oh, looks like there's a big dump of information in here. All of the different classes. And what is, like, what's up with this? Come on. There's so much info here. Password encoder. So beans are like an object construct, I think, in Java. So I don't really want to trawl through all of this right now. May come back to that one. Let's just do a quick find, see if we got password. Password encoder, yeah. Only 3 matches for pass. What about user? Cozy user. Okay, so there's a class name. Okay. All right. So we know that beans is a big dump of information, and then we go back to the end bit, and then we do path. And it kind of looks similar to what we were looking at before. Actuator mappings. And again, there's a whole lot of like deeply nested stuff here. So get actuator sessions, get actuator environment to match. So this is kind of like describing all the actuator endpoints or options or the routes. And again, let's just, check for pass. Nope. No such luck. ENV Langs. Nope. Lang. Singular. Lang. Yeah, not sure what all that is. Health we've looked at. What is sessions? Sessions sounds promising because if it leaks sessions. Ooh, okay. So if I look at my requests, I see JSession ID equals 5090. So let's just grab this. Okay. And let's go to echo. Then how many characters is that? 33. And then if I look at this, how many characters is this? It looks like it's going to be 33. That looks like a session ID to me. But where is my session? I would expect to see my session in there. As always, we will consult our friend Dr. Hacktricks. Spring boot actuator. Spring actuators. Probably should have read this first. Spring auth bypass. Nothing supernatural. Okay. When enabled methods mapped to /admin_earl would also match admin_earl dot. So this configuration has a potential to bypass URL filters. Cool. Good to know. So if you simply append something to it, instead of getting 403, you get 200. These endpoints are accessible without authentication from version 1.5 onwards. Only health and info are non-sensitive by default, but developers often disable this security. Yeah. Okay. Configuration modification via env. Spring Cloud libraries are present. The env endpoint allows modification of environment properties, which I assume is like environment URLs. So here's how you could launch a deserialization against some component called Eureka. But no mention of session. So Spring Boot actuator sessions. Exploit. Exploiting Spring Boot actuators. Sessions. Session identifiers. This is actuator /sessions, right? Restart. Interesting. Okay. session. Yeah, /sessions. This endpoint provides information about active user sessions in the application. That's it. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to inject it as my JSession ID. And then I'm going to try to access the /admin URL. Because we don't have a password, so all we're doing is kind of session hijacking, right? So let's go back to here. Let's go to /admin. And what I want to do is turn on burp. Well, redirect to burp. And I'm going to hit that. And then in burp, intercept. So we get admin. So this is our template for the request that we want to make. And we could see that we get redirected. Yeah, so 302, we fail the authentication check, and we go back to /login. So what might be easier, instead of trying to recreate this in burp, is to just inject it into my browser. Oh, okay. So 5090 EF. Yeah, that is me. Unauthorized. So I'm a non authenticated user. So I've just changed my JSession ID to this first one. And if I do admin, what happens? Oh, we've got burp turned on. Okay, 404. What happens if I go to /login? Error. Come on. HTTP. I need a plugin to enforce that. But is my session, yeah, 72FBA. 72FBA. So try /admin. My cookie, it's different. /8C. So I'm getting a new cookie every time I visit /login. Let me just double check that. So 72FBA, I revisit that page, and then my cookie is still 72FBA. Okay, what if I go to /admin? Nope. 72FBA. I hate that so much. But if I go to /admin, which then redirects me to /login, I get a new session ID. So what I'm thinking is there's got to be a URL that is like a protected page. Because if we're going to this guy, that's sending us directly to 302. It's basically doing 302 /login, and then we get a new cookie, right? Which is no good. If we go to login, because we don't have credentials, it doesn't care. So it's obviously not checking on get. So maybe, well, the other thing is we've actually got two sessions here, right? So we probably want to be trying both. So let's do /admin. And then bang, new cookie, new session ID. Let's try this one just to be sure. So this one is 30DFD. Okay, that's stored. And then admin. Nope, that doesn't work either. So I don't know if admin is valid URL, right? Because all it seems to do is redirect us to login. I would expect that if we had a valid session ID and we went to /admin and it was a real thing, then we would see something and we wouldn't get the redirect. Okay, well here's a test, right? So if I do this guy and I put him in here and then I go to something like blah, I just get an explicit 404 and my cookie stays consistent because I haven't been sent to the I haven't been redirected to the login page. If we go to /login, oops. Bring that back. Yeah. Okay, so at that point it's the same, but if I do anything, yeah, it posts and then I get a new cookie ID. So the one thing we do have is a username. So can we try logging in with that user? No, because we don't have a password for it. So what I'd like to find is something a little bit more than this, because I feel like that there's got to be some other endpoint. So what I'm hypothesizing is you go to login, you go success, and then 302 to /, and I don't think it's /admin. So I want to do some more enumeration. So we did big.txt before. Let's do raft medium words lowercase. Admin index login logout error dot. Is there any... So we get this get parameter error. Is there any hint on where it might send you? So we just have that /login. Anything in the source here? Nope. So only on the server side does it know what page you get redirected to. What page you get redirected to after a valid login. There's nothing else, right? Just this cookie. Path. Expires max age. Secure same site last accessed. Yep. Okay. So Spring Boot /admin. Is this a default? Yeah, so there's a... Okay, this community project provides an admin interface for Spring Boot web applications that expose actuator endpoints. Spring Boot admin is a web application used for managing and monitoring Spring Boot applications. Spring Boot session J session ID hijack. Okay, here's a CD. Session ID can be logged to the standard output stream. Yep. Okay, so it's not good because in the past it's been logging these unique session IDs into the server-side logs, so that doesn't help us. I'm wondering... Do we need to do anything here? So if I do this, and then I look at my newly generated cookie, storage, cookies, expires, max age, session, yeah. Same site, yeah, that looks fine. So I still think what we're missing is the actual protected path. Like, where would /login, where would login redirect you to? I still think we're missing this. Admin, index, login, logout, error. Dot. What is dot? Doesn't make any sense. Yep, just the home page. This is where the word lists become important. Craft, medium. What do we do? We did words. Let's try directories. I don't know. Admin, logout, login, error index. Nah, I'm going to try the big. Large, sorry. Large directories, lowercase, large words. Okay, let's try this. I mean, we can try and force a reset on things. Okay, so slash logout goes to login with this logout parameter. Okay, and then slash admin. Oh. So I'm wondering if we should be search or enumerating for Spring Boot, URL. Is it .jsp? Java server pages? Because all we're looking at is things like slash admin, logout, login, error, etc. So I'm wondering if we should be here's test. Can we do index.jsp? No. Okay. What is the switch for including a extension? -e. So we want to do raft. Well, let's just go back to beginning. Start with big, -e, JSP. Just out of interest, how big is big.txt? Web content big WC -L 20,000. So what else can we try Googling? Because I know JSP is not always the case, right? So JSP is kind of Java embedded, or it's like the Java templating engine. So URL common extensions. When file extensions. File extensions. .graphql. Media types. Yeah, not a lot. I mean, we should probably be doing HTML as well. Still don't know what this is, but whatever. Let's take this out. we want to go down the hints? Like, I'm very confident that using this session ID is what we want to be doing, right? So if we look at this request, send that to my boy, the repeater. So we get 404. Okay, that's for admin with a trailing slash. With no trailing slash, we get a 302 redirect to /login. And we get set cookie. So if we try this one. Same, we get a fresh cookie. Still getting the same things over and over. No. I mean, I'm sure /dashboard was in there somewhere. In one of these lists. Okay. Think. Yeah, let's try some of the file names. File lowercase. And we'll ditch the extension. I don't know. I'm kind of stabbing in the dark at the moment. Nope. So we've done directories. I mean, getting a bit desperate here. At least it's fast. So Spring Boot. Default endpoints. Actuator, but is there stuff other than the actuator? Production ready endpoints. Audit events. Beans, caches, conditions. HTTP trace. Nope, doesn't work. Displays arbitrary. I mean, is there something that dumps like the routes, what I would call route path, displays a collated list of all request mapping paths. That might give us the so what I'm looking for is to try and find a management endpoint in Spring Boot that would dump all of the, you know, the routes, so to speak. Okay, so all of these IDs are mapped to /actuator by default. So if we do actuator ACTUATOR. Okay. And what's the other one? Mappings. Yeah. So it looks like, yeah, look, there's login, admin, add host. That's a new one. Looks like we might need to spend a bit of time combing through this. Servlets. So that maps like the default route to dispatcher, which I think is like the controller, the base controller. So the handler method refers to the class. Okay. So we can kind of differentiate actuator root webpoint, web endpoint. What I'm trying to do is identify which are like Spring Boot default paths and which are, oh yeah, look, here we go. HTTP cloud hosting.compliance post execute SSH. Hello. Okay. /error/admin parameterizable view controller. Let's highlight all of these. Okay. Okay. So if you post to execute SSH, what happens? And then we've got this add host, which we've not seen. So if we go back to here and do add host, I would imagine it's going to send us back to the login page. No. Okay, 500. But there's no more detail about like what the no more detail about like what the post parameters might be that it's expecting. Mapping conditions, methods, post, patterns. Nothing. Let's expand all. Let's just search HDB. Execute over SSH. So if we do add host, we don't get anything. If we do execute SSH, not allowed. So let's try injecting the session ID. going to be maybe this one. 72 FBA. Okay, not allowed, 405. But it did keep the cookie, it didn't redirect us to the login page. Post SSH. God, don't tell me we need to look at the beans. Expand all. Slow. Yikes. HTTP. "19 matches. Security config. Okay. Compliance service. Okay, so that's is it slash app? Cookies slash app 404. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I'm just kind of stabbing in the dark here. Nope, 404. Key is preserved. Okay. Slash database. Yep. CozyHosting app. Nope. Ay, ay, ay. What else we got? Beans, caches. Beans, caches. Nope. Config props. Nope. Loggers. Mappings. Sessions. Thread dump. Nope, that's not there either. Log file? Nope. JMX beans. No. Enumerating Spring Boot. No, we don't want to use enums. We want to enumerate the application itself. Let's get back, reread HackTricks, and see if we can figure it out. Spring Framework versions prior to 5.3, and it's set to true by default. When enabled, methods mapped to admin URL would also match admin URL dot something. So if I was to try admin dot something, no, or a 4. Okay. So we want to well, in 2.x they're under the actuator base URL. So we want to actually Spring Boot dump mappings. How to debug Spring MVC URL mapping? Not really. Information about the application's request endpoints. Okay. Let's learn how to read this a little bit more. Okay. Get, etc. So we want contexts. And using Spring MVC, which I believe we are, let's go back to our mappings. Expand all. Let's filter for HDB. Execute over SSH or cloud. So I'm now starting to wonder, is /admin the right one? Let's go back here. So we do /admin with our known cookie. We get 302. If we do with a trailing slash, we get 404. So is there something about this? I mean, this request? Do we need to do set cookie on the requests? I don't know. again, grasping at straws here. 302. And if we look at /login, it is posting to itself, yeah. So yeah, nothing changes. So I'm wondering if we need to, let's try and capture a login. Okay, so, but on, let's use this K Anderson and same password. Go back to burp, intercept. That's our known cookie, forward. Forward, login error, new cookie. Forward. So let's send that to repeater. And let's just drop the password altogether. Oh. Okay, interesting. So if there's a missing field, nope, still the same. OFD. Let's try this guy again, just to be sure we're covering all our bases. Same thing. Yeah, because I doubt in the /login logic there's a check to see if this submitted cookie is valid or not. The session ID is valid or not. It's probably just taking the username and password, failing that assertion, and then game over. Cloud. What about admin? Parameterizable view controller. Parameterizable view controller. All right, I think it's time. Time for some hints. 2 ports. Hey. There is 2 ports. Wrong answer. Did I not? Oh my god, don't tell me. Did I screw up my recon? Uh-oh. History, grep, and map. Yeah. That's what I ran, right? Less nmap1.txt. 2 ports. SSH and port 80. .655.33 closed. What is going on here? Okay. Oh, that's why it's not working. Okay. Sometimes I make it more difficult for myself than I need to. Good. CozyHosting.hdb. Oops. Typed it in wrong. Hit send too fast. HDB. Slash error. Spring Boot. Okay, this far. What endpoint is exposed in Spring Boot is mainly used for debugging purposes. Actuator. K. Anderson. When a post request is sent to execute SSH, which of the two parameters is vulnerable to command injection? But how do we know what the parameters are? Unless it is in here. Okay. Execute over SSH. String. Command injection. So how do we figure? Okay, first of all, let's get. Goodness. So. It's a post only, right? So let's go back to here. Let's copy this. No, we want to copy this. Let's change this to execute SSH. We've got our known session ID. Let's ditch the referrer. And let's just fire that and see what we get. Huh? No. Come on. What 80? So I'm going to guess it's like server equals google.com and user equals please sub. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but this is not providing a response. It's just hanging. So we can see in the compliance service execute over SSH, we got string. So 2 params, but no clue in here what it actually is. There's no get method, so it's just going to be send. No, nothing. Let's just kind of host equals A and user equals B. Cancel. Oh, okay. So that's 400. Whereas when you do a get, it's 405. Method not allowed. So how do we work out what the actual parameter names are for posting to execute SSH? Go back to our beans. Execute SSH. No. Let's go back to what other actuator things do we have? Beans, mappings, health sessions. Okay, let's just go through them. And span all right. SSH, nope. Execute. Env/home. Nope, nothing useful there. N/path. Nothing useful there. Mappings we've studied. Beans we've studied. What about the root? Oops. Okay, that's just the actuator endpoints. So if we do /env. Execute SSH. No, nothing. Alright, I'm going for the hint. Injection is blind. Use out-of-band techniques like sleep, making the target connect to your box. I still feel that we need to know the actual form names. So like IP equals A. What do we actually want to do? Sleep. Yeah, it's not that, right? Sleep. Percent 21. Because if we don't know this, it's gonna fail, and we just get bad requests. Is there anything? Well, the other thing we should be doing is trying the different cookies. Yeah. So How do we find the actual structure of this post request? Think, John, think. Jakarta, servlet, HTTP, servlet response, Java, lang, string, Java, lang, string. Consumes, headers, methods, params. We expect it to be in there. Come on, there's gotta be something missing here. Error controller. Actuator health. Beans. Mappings. That's what we're looking at now. ENV. Yeah, we've looked at that. Oh, hang on. The cookie is reset. The session cookie has changed. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do not tell me. All this time, I've been using an invalid session ID. Oh my goodness. I don't believe it. Okay. So /admin. So /admin is real. What's happened is I've left this page alone once I first discovered it. And now I refresh it. And there's a different cookie ID or session ID. Far out. So now if I go to /admin, it'll work. Because if I look at my burp requests, when I send the get to admin with cookie, I find this. Oh, God. Oh, it's so painful. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, goodness. And I bet if we look at this, this is going to be posting to the execute SSH. Execute, yep, there it is. So it's host and username. My goodness. So it's going to be host equals something and username equals something. And of course, we need our correct session ID. So it must be like every, I don't know, 15 minutes or half an hour, something, that session ID is getting reset. Nope, that's not it. Oh my god. Oh, the pain. 38. Yeah, 38D6. That's the one we want. So host is going to be sleep percent 20. Well, let's just do this for now. 127.0.0.1. Okay, Anderson. Send. So right now, I think the reason it's not returning a response is because it's trying to SSH to itself, and we need to wait for that to time out. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do ourselves a favor. Do this right. Host name is blah. Username is KN. Well, it just can be anything, right? Blah. Let's turn on burp. Submit. Intercept. Forward. Error. Could not resolve hostname blah. So I think it's going to be the host name field. Let's go into post. Let's send that to the repeater. And let's do... What do we want to do? We could... Okay, what do we want it to do? We want it to... Yeah, let's just try this. Okay, so we do this. Do we get a response straight away? Okay, so we do get a response straight away. Okay, so let's try sleep percent 20 for a space and then 5. Invalid host name. We need to add a semicolon to try and break out. Okay. So let's grab this. Change it to blah. Write on the username. One, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. Username can't contain white spaces. Okay. So, what is sleep by default? So we can do sleep. How do we want to escape it? No. Could not do that. Let's add our IP just so it's not complaining about name resolution. Okay. But then it's going to complain about white space. Okay. Blah. Invalid host name. There. What other ways could this not be sanitized properly? So it's kind of doing SSH username. No, yeah, username host. So I would think the host would be the right one because it comes second. Or we want to add a like that. No, we want to encode that as HTML. Sorry, as your 26. Percent 26. Percent 26. Percent 20. Invalid, 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 invalid. What is the semicolon? Oh, doesn't need to be encoded. Okay, look, I'm gonna oh no, username. What? Host and username. Oh. So we still don't have our payload, so to speak, but it is the username. So let's just add back to our IP 10.10.14.4. And let's grab that 10.10.14.4. Username can't contain white spaces. How do we bypass that? We need to payload shall escape Okay, let's just do this. Shell escape space. But it's the percent 20 that it's complaining about, right? Oh, there we go. Okay. SSH minus O connect timeout equals 1. So this, yeah, so it's running bin bash minus C. So we probably don't even need the at, right? Completely broke it then. Okay, yeah, so sleep's definitely getting executed now. So how do we... How do we bypass the white space check? So URL encode bypass white space. Oh, maybe we could just use a plus. That's a good point. Sometimes it's a plus, sometimes percent 20. Plus means it's only for form URL encoded. Maybe it doesn't check for that. Plus 5. Nope, it does. So it runs URL decode. Okay, yeah, that's a good XSS vector. Tab? No space, no slash. Okay. Let's try tab. Please. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Right. So we just need to use tabs instead of spaces. And now what we need is a rev shell 10.10 14.4 1337 bash minus I. That should do. We'll just try it anyway. So we need to replace that with a tab. We need to replace that with a tab. That with a tab. And that with a tab. And we're going to need something to listen. These work. No. Okay, maybe if we try URL encoding this. Encode URL. No. Connection refused. Oh, there it is. Hello. Oh, yeah. Okay. We have foothold. Post to /admin using valid JSession ID from actuator sessions. Command injection on execute SSH. Example payload. It's going to be this. Oh my god. So let's just do a little bit of post exploitation enumeration. I do have, anyone who's watched any of my videos knows that I always struggle with upgrading my shell. Okay. Let's try Python 3. So I have been researching a little bit, and hopefully this is my first time trying it out. So we still don't have a full bugger. Still don't have a full interactive shell at this point, but let's try this. Like I said, I've struggled with this before. FG. And reset. No! Export. No, 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 no. Oh, man. Yeah, that whole STTY raw just is no good for me. I still have to figure it out. Okay, let's do... What do we want to do? We want to... RTFM. Current window kill, ampersand. Ampersand, yes. Then we want to do NVLP1367. Then we want to get back here and run our reverse shell again. And then we'll just stick with this for now. Right. So we have cloudhosting.jar. Interesting. We're running as the app user. What else do we want to do? We want to do probably uname -a. Okay, grab that. We want to grab, what else? Some information about the distro. Ah, have it. So, here we go. Yep. Okay. Let's try that again. Very nice. Trying to get a little bit structured in my enum. Do we have any bash history? Doubt it. Oh. So we're in /app. Home. ls home. So cat etc password Brett sh. So we know who the potential interactive users are. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And so it looks like we've got... Oh. Yeah, okay, that's one. Yep, okay. So, by easy HackTheBox CTF standards, I think we want to pivot to Josh. We definitely want to get a copy of this cloudhosting.jar. So do we have SCP? Yep, SCP. Cloud, what do we want? Jono at 10.10.14.4. CTF HDB Cozy Hosting. Oh no. Okay. So it's going to be source, which is cloudhosting 0.0.1.jar. I mean, it's SCP that to me 10.10.14.4. The path is going to be CTF HDP Cozy Hosting. And we don't have an interactive shell, do we? So it's not going to... Yeah. Okay. All right, let's think about this. So if I just do plain, yeah, it doesn't... So how do I start ZSH ignore profile? ZSH minus F. I think part of the reason this STTY raw doesn't work is because I've got, yeah, I've got like a whole bunch of extensions and stuff loaded and a whole bunch of custom shell profile stuff. So let's do this. Let's kill that. Let's do ZSH minus F. Let's do NC minus NVLP1337. Let's remake our reverse shell. Then let's do Python 3 minus C import pty pty.spawn bin bash. Then Control Z. Raw echo. Then let's go back. Let's do reset. No. Reset. Export shell equals bash. Export term equals x term 256 color stty raw echo. No. My goodness. Okay. I'm not going to screw around with that any longer because we're already at 2 hours. So what do I want to do? I want to kill this. Nope. I want to kill this. Yes. NC NBLP 1337. That. Python 3. Let's just do this. Oh, I didn't get the file name. Okay. Calm down. Okay, we're back. So what I'm going to do is move into CTF HDB, CozyHosting. Then I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to do ls. Then I'm going to run Python 3 -m http.server. Python -m http. Oh, already in use. -m http.server Python 3 HTTP server port. Port. Okay, it's just the next argument. Port 9000. Python 3 -m http.server 9000. Okay. Now, let's grab this. So we've got the actual file name. And then let's do this. And we're going to do HTTP IP 9000 file name. Less. Beautiful. Now we've got a copy. I want to have a look around in here because it was in the home directory. I think it was pretty obvious that, you know, sorry, it was in the not the home directory, but it's the only jar file in the /app directory. So I wanted to take a look at it. But do we want to do any kind of further enumeration? Look at all my shells still running. Yeah, I think this jar file is going to be the next place that we want to go. So I read about a jar GUI for Explore jar files. Jar Explorer. I mean, you can kind of just unzip it and grep through it and stuff, but I'd rather... Yeah, so you can extract all the contents. Jars are just zip files. JD GUI. Yeah, that's what I want. JD GUI. Let's do JD GUI Kali. Is package available? Yes, lovely. Apt install JD GUI. Off we go. Nice. Okay, now let's get a new window. JD GUI. Open. Then Cozy. And this. So that's the... Okay, these are all the artifacts. Nope, we don't want that. This is what we want. Okay. Admin, add host, index, login. Yeah. Application properties. And we have a Postgres user. So I'm imagining we can now kind of browse around the database. So let's go back to here. PG. Oh, it's PSQL, right? PSQL. PSQL User is Postgres. Password, will it prompt me? PSQL user Postgres. User is Postgres. PSQL user Postgres. Password. Let's make this guy. Come on. It's not complete. It's got a V at the beginning. Capital V. Oh. PSQL user Postgres single S password. Okay, I think it's trying to communicate through like a local kind of named pipe, so we probably want to do Postgres password the posts 127.0.0.1. Okay, let me think. PSQL connect localhost. -H localhost. -H -U. Okay. Yeah, it's using a socket by default. PSQL -H 127.0.0.1 -U Postgres password. Come on. And this is the database name. CozyHosting. Come on, timeout. So let's just grab this. Do I have PSQL installed? Okay. Just seeing if we can get a command line together. So we want to do that, and then CozyHosting is the database. Kill that. Start again. Send. Run that. Then run this. Postgres slash this is a weird editor. Just give me everything. Hey, there we go. Okay. So we're now connected to the database. It's been a while since I used Postgres. PSQL show tables. Oh yeah, slash something. DT. Okay. So we got 2 hosts and users. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay, select star from hosts. K Anderson, fine, whatever. Select star from users. Right. Okay, let's grab that. Hashes. Okay. So I learned my lesson last time where I went to all this trouble to try and crack these hashes using Hashcat, but they had already been cracked and was stored publicly in a database. It's called Hash Station, Crack Station. That's right. Go. Unrecognized hash format. Dang it. What about this guy? Unrecognized. Yeah, so Crack Station has big lookup tables of already known hashes. Okay, so let's do this. Let's vim hashes.txt. And let's grab the other one. We do hashcat, hashes.txt, word lists, user share, word lists, rocku, go. Hashcat, help. Word lists. Oh, there's no parameter. Okay. Hopefully it will instantly recognize the hash type, which it doesn't, but it just so happens I have been in this exact scenario before. Can't remember what it was. I think it was an open source app. So I just kind of, after some experimentation last time, went with this Blowfish Unix type. Okay. Recovered. 0 of 2. 75 hashes per second. Seems slow. Alright, we could be here for a little while. I mean, we could always start with a smaller dictionary. RockU is pretty big. But there's a risk that we spend like 10 minutes going through another dictionary and then we have to end up doing RockU anyway. We have made 0.02% progress. Oh, we got one. Manchester United. Okay. So that's the SKPY. So this one is result Manchester. Okay, I can't spell Manchester. Manchester United. So the first thing that I want to do with these credentials, even though this is admin and this is Kay Anderson, who's the user that we've seen at the application level. This is admin. So I want to kind of test whether we can quit. Yep, okay. I want to see if we can use this for the other interactive users. So we only had root, app, and Josh. Now we've got a new credential. If we go back to the start, leave this alone and leave SSH alone until we develop some creds. So while the username in the database is admin, I want to try it with this password. So I'm just going to do from my reverse shell, Josh, Manchester United. There we are. ID. Brilliant. So Linux user Josh, Manchester United. Okay. So what I think we'll do is just test that works with SSH. So it's going to be SSH Josh at IP. Yes, we're happy. Password Manchester United. There we go. All right. So no more crappy broken shell for me that I can't figure out how to fix. And bye. Good. So we are here. We have the user.txt flag. Let us grab that. And then what do we want to do? So now instead of being reverse shell via the app user, this guy, we're logged in as Josh, so we just probably want to do some of this basic enumeration. We've already got most of this. And, you know, this is, I'm trying to build like a list of stuff to check before I go and fire up linps or something like that, right? So the one that I always kind of seem to keep running into recently is misconfigured sudo. So we've got his password. I mistyped that. Okay. Josh may run the following commands on localhost as root. User bin SSH. So if I do sudo user bin SSH, that is very cool. So what do we want to do? We want to just localhosts. But we don't have the root password. No. We want to do Josh. Hang on, how's that going to work? Is that going to give us a shell? So now my sudo, my SSH client is running. What? But now that dies. Abuse SSH sudo. I think I've seen this website before. Help me out. SSH. Nope. Nope. Let's think about it. Can we SSH client spawn shell? I don't know. No, we want to run command. Run local command. Yeah. So I think we can send the the escape sequence. So if we do that, and then we do we can do enter tilde period. Enter tilde period. No, I didn't want to kill it. Oh, because that's going to be caught on my local SSH. And SSH. Hmm. SSH. Sudo SSH. Privilege escalation. Okay. Control master. Ooh, that kind of sounds like what I need. Local command. Localhost. No. No, 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 no. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so proxy command SSH proxy command. Can you give me SSH proxy command and proxy jump? Sometimes you need to only access a remote server via SSH by the first login and then into an immediately server. Okay. Excellent. So let's go into root. Cat root.txt. There it is. Wonderful. Let's pop that in here. Oh my goodness. All right. That is CozyHosting done. Wow. It was good. It was a box that involved no vulnerabilities. It was all to do with various misconfigurations along the way. But the big lesson was I assumed the first time I visited the mappings, the sessions actuator endpoint, that the session ID that I was using or trying to hijack was persistent. And so I kept trying to log into this admin endpoint or URL using that cookie, and it never worked. because the cookie had expired and a new one had been created. So I think I spent, out of the last 2 hours 36 minutes, I probably spent 45 to 50 minutes trying to gain access to this thing. And then when I wasn't able to gain access to it, I was trying to do more and more and more enumeration to figure out what it actually was. And as soon as I had the right cookie, or the right session ID, it worked. So very fundamental lesson there. You know, don't always assume that, well, just don't assume. So yeah, otherwise, a lot of fun. I'm going to refresh this now, see if this ID changes. And it has. So what I'm assuming is that this session ID is expiring because the max age is not set to, like, you know, 15 minutes in the future, but it's this session name, it's this session tag. So what's happening is, on the Spring Boot side, is that it is periodically aging out this cookie, and then they have some other process that's logging in as K Anderson to generate a fresh one, which is why we might have seen 2. So it'll be valid for some period of time. And yeah, that was a little bit frustrating. So, but otherwise it was a lot of fun. I mean, just to recap, if I can try and wrap my head around all of the stuff that went on here, was that yeah, we discovered this web application. We kind of mapped out the browser through Nginx reverse proxy into Tomcat running on 8080. We discovered it was Spring Boot. We discovered that Spring Boot has this actuator endpoint. That actuator endpoint has /sessions, which we got from our Spring Boot specific enumeration. And then using that particular session ID, we were trying to log into /admin. And I just explained how that all went terribly, terribly wrong. And once we finally got to the homepage of /admin, we saw that there was a form you could submit. It was posting to the execute SSH endpoint. The username had a command injection vulnerability. That gave us a reverse shell. The reverse shell gave us access to the application jar file that runs on here, /admin. We were able to open that up in this wonderful JD GUI tool. It has the database Postgres credentials in plain text. And using that, we were able to connect to the database. We were then able to get the hashes from the users table. We were able to crack the hash using the Blowfish scheme. For the admin user in the database, that gave us the password Manchester United. We were able to log in as Josh using Manchester United. Once we were there, we were able to run the SSH command with root privileges because of a sudo configuration. And then we kind of came across from lolbins the fact that you can use this proxy command to spawn a shell locally. And that gave us root because SSH was running as root. And so any child process underneath that is going to be inheriting the same UID. In this case, 0. Cool. Yeah, I am a little bit tired after that one, a little bit mentally drained. I need some Matrix style screensaver to calm me down. But as always, it's been a lot of fun. If you stuck around to the end of this very long video, thank you very much. And have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime, whatever time it is for you. I'm going to go to bed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.